Oregon's new gun laws that could put you in jail today. Imagine being arrested not for new violence, but for something you already own. In Oregon, that scenario just went from what if to reality. On September 26, 2025, Senate Bill 243 took effect. It didn't just tweak gun laws, it criminalized the ownership of devices that accelerate fire. It shifted how concealed carry works, and it set a new requirement, a license just to buy a firearm. Coming March the 15th, 2026. If you live in Oregon, what you thought was legal yesterday could land you in jail today. In this video, we'll break it all down. What SB 243 actually does and what it bans. What counts as a rapid fire activator under this law. The difference between misdemeanor versus felony penalties. How this changed concealed carry rules and buy permit requirements. What gun owners must do now to protect their rights. Welcome to Firearms Law Advisor. Not politics, not spin, just the raw truth about legal battles shaping your future. Stay ahead of the fight. Like this video and subscribe now. Chapter 1, SB 243, the new law that changed everything. This isn't just another gun bill. Senate Bill 243 is a full-on restructuring of how Oregon treats your rights under the Second Amendment. When it quietly took effect on September 26, 2025, most headlines ignored it. But behind the legal language lies a bombshell. It's now a crime to merely possess certain firearm accessories you may already own. Key takeaways: SB 243 bans rapid-fire devices, not just sales or transport, but personal ownership too. It aligns Oregon with Measure 114, but moves key parts forward on its own timeline. Lawmakers baked in vague terms that give law enforcement broad interpretation powers. This bill is dangerous, not just for what it says, but for how quietly it went into effect. Thousands of Oregon gun owners could be breaking the law without knowing it. And the worst part? Ignorance of the law won't protect you from felony charges. Chapter 2. What is a rapid-fire activator and why it's a trap? You've probably heard about bans on bump stocks or binary triggers before, but Oregon's new language creates a catch-all category called rapid-fire activators, and this legal term is way broader than you think. What's banned under SB 243? Bump stocks, binary trigger systems, burst trigger systems, forced reset triggers, FRTs, hellfire triggers, trigger cranks, and rapid fire switches. The bill defines these as anything that increases the rate of fire of a semi-automatic firearm. But here's the issue. There's no clear standard for what rapid means. That vagueness gives police and prosecutors room to interpret common modifications as crimes. And guess what? You don't even have to use them. Simply possessing one of these is now enough to be arrested. That means if you bought a binary trigger years ago and forgot about it in your gun safe, you could now be charged. Chapter 3. Felony versus misdemeanor. Know the stakes before you act. SB 243 isn't just regulatory, it criminalizes behavior that was legal for decades, and the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony can be the difference between a slap on the wrist and years behind bars. Legal penalties under SB 243. Class A, misdemeanor, possession of a banned rapid-fire activator, punishable by up to $300, 64 days in jail, and a $6,250 fine. Class B, felony, transporting, selling, manufacturing, or offering to sell these devices, carries up to 10 years in prison and $250,000 in fines. This makes Oregon one of the few states where owning an inanimate piece of metal or plastic without ever using it can be treated almost as harshly as committing a violent crime. Prosecutors don't need to prove malicious intent. If the device is found in your home or vehicle, that alone could lead to charges. Chapter 4. Concealed carry just got complicated. If you have a concealed handgun license, CHL, in Oregon, you've already jumped through hoops, but SB 243 throws new obstacles in your way, especially if you carry in public buildings or city spaces. Major changes to CHL rules. Local governments can now prohibit CHL carry in specific public buildings, even if you're licensed. Affirmative defense rules are being weakened. This means if you're caught with a firearm in a prohibited zone, you may no longer be automatically protected just because you have a permit. Expect more gun-free zones and restrictions imposed at the local level, city by city. This is a strategy seen in other anti-gun states, death by 1,000 cuts. You still have the right to carry, but fewer and fewer places where that right actually means anything. Chapter 5. The timeline that could catch you off guard. Many gun owners assume they'll have months to adapt to a new law, but SB 243 is already in effect, and more changes are coming in just months. What's happening and when? September 26, 2025, SB 243 became enforceable law. Device possession is now criminal. Concealed carry rules updated. March 15, 2026, permit to purchase system launches based on ballot measure 114. Anyone buying a gun will need to apply for a license before purchase. Gun stores may need to verify permit status before any sale. This gives the state several months to build an infrastructure of delays, forms, and restrictions. Meanwhile, Oregon gun owners will have to scramble to stay compliant. If the permit system fails, it could turn into a de facto ban, because without a license you can't buy, and the state doesn't need to outlaw firearms when they can simply refuse to process permits. Chapter 6. Will you need a license just to buy a gun? Oregon's next major change comes in the form of pre-purchase licensing. Under SB 243, starting March 15, 2026, no one in the state will be able to buy a firearm unless they first apply for and receive a license. This is not a background check. It's a separate government-issued permit that must be secured before the purchase even begins. And if the system fails or stalls, that means no permit, no gun. Key takeaways. Every Oregon gun buyer will need a state-issued permit before any purchase. The process will include training, fingerprinting, and a fee. Local law enforcement may become the gatekeepers for issuing these permits. No infrastructure currently exists to support timely issuance. Failure of the system may result in a de facto gun ban due to the delay. Oregon isn't banning guns on paper, they're creating bureaucratic walls so high that lawful citizens may give up trying to climb them. Chapter 7. How these laws mirror California's failed strategy. Oregon's new laws didn't emerge in a vacuum. They're modeled closely after California's pattern of using endless regulations to create a system where rights technically exist but are nearly impossible to exercise. This is sometimes called legal suffocation. You don't need to outlaw guns when you can just make ownership so burdensome people give up. Key takeaways. California used sensitive place designations to erase carry zones. Insurance mandates and mandatory training mimic Oregon's new approach. Magazine bans, AR-15 restrictions, and ammo background checks all started small. Now, California faces lawsuits and is losing in court under Bruin. Oregon is repeating the same playbook despite clear constitutional losses. These are the same tactics. New state, same goal. Wear down your rights until you stop fighting. Chapter 8. Could other states follow Oregon's lead? Oregon may be the first in the Northwest to implement this mix of rapid-fire bans and licensing delays, but it likely won't be the last. As federal courts become more hostile to direct gun bans, blue states are shifting toward backdoor control schemes. Key takeaways. Washington State and Hawaii have similar legislation in draft stages. Colorado lawmakers are monitoring Oregon's licensing rollout. Illinois and New Jersey already require owner ID systems often abused. Oregon's March 2026 deadline could be used as a template nationwide. The danger isn't just this one law, it's how quickly these frameworks spread once they survive a challenge. One judge upholding Oregon's permit system could spark copycat laws across the country. Chapter 9. What about enforcement? Will cops really arrest gun owners? One of the biggest open questions is how aggressively this law will be enforced. Will police raid homes for bump stocks? Will sheriffs prioritize gun licensing? In many Oregon counties, the answer is likely no, but that's not the full story. Key takeaways. Major cities like Portland and Eugene will likely push full enforcement. Some sheriffs may refuse to prioritize enforcement, citing budget and principle. Federal agencies like the ATF may step in if states deem accessories illegal. Gun owners caught unaware during routine traffic stops or home calls may face surprise charges. The scariest part is that you don't need to be caught committing a crime. Just being found with a restricted device in your home, even after a noise complaint, could be enough for criminal prosecution. Chapter 10. What you can do right now to protect yourself. It's not enough to be outraged. If you live in Oregon, or even a neighboring state, it's time to start taking proactive steps. The law is moving fast. The courts will take time, but your preparation can start today. Key takeaways. Inventory your firearms and accessories. Know what's legal and what's now banned. If you own banned devices, consider removing them from the state until lawsuits play out. Monitor the March 2026 permit system rollout. Don't wait until it's too late to apply. Support lawsuits challenging these restrictions. They're already underway. Call your lawmakers, especially at the county level, and demand non-enforcement resolutions. Remember, these laws rely on confusion, fear, and inaction. Staying informed is your most powerful weapon. The battle is bigger than Oregon, and it's just beginning. If you've made it this far, you already understand this isn't about one bill or one state. It's about a national movement and your right to be free from government overreach. This is about a government quietly criminalizing ordinary gun owners while pretending it's about safety. So don't stay silent. Share this video, subscribe to the channel, and join the movement. We'll keep exposing these laws and arming you with the truth. We'll see you in the next video.